everyone's ready. We're in. Momo is playing Ming Ming. Pretty wide breadth of characters for this last game. Mainly the pair of Ming Ming's got some Long Yao, Yanxue, Omen of Sword formation. A pretty good pickup for potentially musician Long Yao.
Actually for the painter one as well.
Yes, true. Might hit my choice for Momo. Inevitability of success for Nangong Sheng. You are picks my fate, my choice. Ooh, Master of Daostrime here as well. Fate of Concentrated Element. Not a bad one for Tiger, though. You do need to make a decision whether you're playing Metal or Earth. I think my choice and Esoteric of Astral.
Is that true that you have to make a decision between Metal and Earth? You can just choose, would you rather draw Metal cards or Earth cards this round, and just put in the first slot accordingly?
Yes, but you need to give up one of your fates to actually pick it. Which, you're probably not giving up Ring, you're probably not giving up your tier 2, so it's probably...
That's true, you're likely to... Yeah, okay, so you're just gonna give up either Vigorous or Landslide.
Yeah, yeah. Alright. Initial round on the board, we can go into side job picks here for our players. So, Long Yao, Musician indeed, Muifeng, Fuluist, Muhu Elixir, Yanchen Elixir, Fulu Nan Gongshang, Musician Ming Ming, Momo's playing Elixirist Ming Ming though, and then Fulu Yanchua, repping the classics.
So we have Fulu Nangong Shen. That's not a particularly common choice.
No.
I assume we're going to see Divine Walk UWF as the first two cards of the deck in the late game if they have their way.
Yeah, that would be my working assumption as well. It's yeah, it's a pretty late game oriented pick, but the Fulus do it
very much so. Most players have been opting these days to skip Swift Burning Seal because the 20 HP deduction is enormous. But choosing Fuluist as your side job lets you do that sort of costlessly, right? You don't have to run the one dead non-chasing card at the back of the deck.
Yeah.
But also, it means that you have to be a Fuluist for, I don't even know, 12 rounds before you're at that point.
Well, this is not a bad looking board to go for 12 rounds with. Found some upgrades pretty early. They seem pretty good. The Long Yao has found Illusion Tune. Transferring Spirit Rhythm really not the chi source you want. The extra ignore defense from cheaper fusion's pretty important for the deck, but it might be okay. We have the upgraded Form Intention Sword, so if we find like a Tremolo, then we can just kind of coast from there.
I'm sure they'll take a lot of rolls on too, and still be saving cheaper fusions they find.
And you see here there are attacks running into the defense we make, but still good enough.
Oh, actually, I guess if you do a faster breakthrough to 3, Tremolo is a very nice addition to that deck.
Yes. Tremolo, I think, a pretty... a key they're definitely keeping in mind, a card they're definitely keeping in mind, keeping this Form Intention Sword around. Alright, going into Momo. So Momo is Elixirist, which I think is generally going to be a Crash Fist setup, or potentially even the Realm Killing Palms board. But either way, less likely to be the heavy internal injury side of things. An interesting fate pick here.
Less likely? I mean, the Musician commits very hard to the internal injury side, but
yes.
I think Elixirist can still play it quite competently if that's what they happen to hit.
Yeah, I think so too. But I would say less likely than to either of the other two boards. Sure. You just need to, you don't have any redundant pieces like you do with Musician, where you have so many.
They are making a lot of physique, though. If they were planning to go pure Crash Fist, they would not care about generating so much. We might see them doing less of it.
Well, physique is still pretty good. Being able to play crane footwork is no joke, and being able to forego picking up Gone Crazy can also sometimes be of benefit as well, since Gone Crazy is not a huge line. And yeah, like Senpai said, you can also lean into the Realm Killing Palms line pretty comfortably from this spot. So we'll see how they go. If you can make the physique, you might as well. Memo's done a pretty good job keeping their destiny up. I'm curious how many of these Astral Move Dragon Slays, Meteorite, Meteors, and Astral Move Twin Swallows this Xian is going to draw this game.
Meteorite Meteor is definitely one of the more comedic cards in the game. It's just really funny to see it ping them out 19 times.
Yes, it does not speed up. Very
really,
slowly.
Oh,
blinks them down.
Even if you use cards like the what's it called, Cycle of Fate, the Fortune Teller card at tier 5. To let the game go longer before you play Meteorite Meteor, then the game will speed up. The Meteorite Meteor pings still go at the same speed. It's excellent.
Yeah, so UR has broken through, picked up their Gone Crazy. They're going to be building their physique now on tier 3. Not the opponent you want when you are spending turns applying a bunch of debuffs to yourself. Now Momo is up against them here. However, it's the same situation. Momo plays Gone Crazy too, so not exactly the matchups for Ming Mings. 2 rounds in a row up against Yanchen's, but Yanchen's pretty happy to take advantage of the slightly weaker turns here. Meanwhile, this Illusion Tune board has found an extra copy of Illusion Tune, an Earth Tune, and Kindness Tune, so well set up to relax with the Dragon Scale late game.
Yeah, this board still needs some work to be winning fights, though. Right? Like, it's not... It's in good shape for now, but give it 2 rounds and it won't be any.
Yeah, true. You really want to find something on tier 3 and 4. You have the locked Rule Sky, which does go very far for ensuring you have something to do on tier 5. So you certainly have some incentive to try to find, like, your Mirror Flowers and stuff now. Child has drawn 2 copies of the Vesper.
Again, finding a Tremolo is just a huge boon to the board. Even like a Cracking Voice. Not a bad pull.
Yeah, for sure. I remember actually manages to clinch this one out. Taking the win off Yanshen. Well, there's that Kraken Fist. Looks like we're saving a few rolls from here. Yanshen playing a pretty typical sword intent board as we save up for our big Spirit Sword transition. The Epiphany on 3, I love it. We're here to go first. Come hell or high water.
They might have to do a little bit of losing before that comes to pass. But I think they'll find a way. I'm not sure I love it as much as you. I'm a big fan of Drift Ice Blade.
I think when you're fully unsure, it certainly has a little bit less value. But...
Oh, is that the side job? Yeah, okay,
yeah.
That's fair. We know what they want to do in the late game with a Fulu pick.
Indeed.
And, yeah, Drift Ice Blade only makes 2 block with Dharma.
It's not that good. You know, this Kindness Tune could have been an actual card and probably won that fight. We're using the Ming Ming Mirror here. The Mingra, as it might be. Meanwhile...
Nothing. I'm just wailing in despair that Momo's losing. I'm a very biased commentator.
Alright. Well, we've broken through the 4. We have Styx Knight and we have Crash Shitadama. So any Crash Fist card is just gonna do 20 damage. Which is a pretty good place to be. You know, we were talking earlier about like boards you can play to just make sure you know, lock up like a top 4 when your team is in a commanding lead. And Momo's team at the moment is very comfortably in second. So a solid finish is all Momo needs. And, you know, I feel like this is exactly the kind of board that can manage that.
Right as you say that, he pulls the Crash Fist and starts running some other interesting things.
And then suddenly there was a Soul Seizing.
A Majestic Chi, Exercise Marrow, yeah.
I you know, in Momo we trust. I'm sure these decisions will be revealed to us.
They seem very intent on continuing to build their physique, right? It's a huge commitment at this stage when you could just be playing Crash Fists that do over 20 damage, as you said, to keep building the physique. And you really, like, they have the physique to play a Crane Footwork, which isn't even really the best chase they can hit. They'd rather use a Styx Knight with the, or Styx Agility with the Crash Shitadama. So I'm thinking that they have their eyes set on RKP.
You know, it's interesting. They survived with 8 HP after playing Styx Agility and the Majestic Chief for Soul Seizing. It was like exactly the right amount of healing to have on the board. So, you know, I feel like this Momo person might know what they're doing.
They have a lot of the pieces held on to for RKP as well, right? That you would want the Styx Knight Subdue Dragon, and then you would, if you find a Crash Footwork, you can make the RKP do a ton of damage. Yeah.
And you know, the Crash Footwork here already would just look pretty good with like this Windward Palm Subdue Dragon. You don't even need the Crash Chitadama at that point. You can just turn this into a Crash Fist and deal so much damage.
Yep.
Man, these cards are just flying around the board. Alright, Namgongsheng has drawn Wood Spirit Secret Seal, sorry.
They also, they have Flame Soul Reaver. Which is actually something we've been seeing people take quite a lot of in this tournament. A lot more Flame Soul Rebirths than not, so it's sort of a notable difference from what you tend to see on lobby.
It's interesting that our only Crash Fist on this board is oh, they didn't take Rebirth, they took Fire Spirit Generation. So
oh, okay. Sorry, I saw 2 things there and assumed they were going to be Explosion and Flame Soul.
Yeah. No, I got you there as well. Is Murmur just a calculator? Like, how did we find this line? the ignore defense plus Soul Seizing through the Spirit Secret Seal. That is you know, I think if I was in Murmur's shoes, I would be on 30 less Destiny. I don't think I would have won either of those 2 fights.
It's, well, I feel like I would have taken the cop-out. I would have just thrown Crash Fists on my board, and I would have won all of these fights, but I wouldn't have built physique or had a late-game plan. I would have just been winning the mid-game, right? He's managed to do all of the above.
Yeah, absolutely. Having the cake and eating it too. Here we see another, you know, kind of, ooh, this is not the sequencing you want for these. If Gone Crazy is going to make 7 block here. I mean, it's fine. The Tremolo still gets +6 damage on each hit. It still does, you know, 20 damage, but it could be doing a lot more. Yeah, so Crash Fist Gone Crazy not going to really pop off here. feel like this is a mistake that we all make sometimes, where we think to ourselves, well, why am I playing my Tremella here? I should play my Gone Crazy first, and then several minutes into the round, we realize why our board was the way it was. That said, Tremella still does 1 million damage here, so it's not a concern at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing a bunch from Styx Knight.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I don't know. You say we all make that mistake, but I don't think I've ever buffed my Crash Fist Gone Crazy with that particular buff. I have definitely had my Crash Fist Gone Crazy elicit a Shocked Punch.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit more exciting.
I've had it apply wounds from the Entangling Crash Fist, but yeah.
Ah, interesting. Chat is saying that the way Subdue Dragon works is actually the defense applies to the Gone Crazy, but the attack actually carries over to the Tremolo. That's interesting. The numbers on Tremolo did seem very, very high. Like 16 per hit, which does seem like more than what the Styx Knight should have done by itself. So that might be right.
Yeah, that does add up.
Yeah.
I wonder why it works that way. That just feels like a developer having mercy on players that screwed it up too much.
Next applicable Crash Fist, yes, seems to be the case. Well, that's good to know. I did not know that. Alright, so the Ming Ming's facing off again. Now we do have a bunch of Crash Fists on our board. Notably, Ming Ming does not have... Momo does not have Tremolo, which does put in a lot of work here. The double attack down, pretty rough for you. Really, really reducing the damage from these multi-hits enough for Momo to survive. I think Momo loses that fight the majority of the time.
It doesn't... Does it? Let's see, they had... Yeah, okay, so it's the 7th debuff, and so Styx Knight only covers one of the attack downs. That is unfortunate for that.
Xian picking up a much-needed win here. So, Momo here breaking through and taking Solid Foundation on tier 5. You know, you're still allowed to do that. Doesn't hurt nearly as much. Gives them a nice Destiny buffer. Meanwhile, you
especially if they're punching people with all this force, all the physique they've built is not necessarily the most important. Like, I'm sure they'll be happy they have it for crane footwork, but they're not, bending over backwards to have the maximum possible physique for RKP or anything.
No. So, UR's board here is terrifying. We have max Heartbroken Tune, with Caught in Tune to power 2 Soul Cleavings, entangling from bearing the load, plus attack down. We're also just holding onto a spare Shura and Rob Sprite ready to go with 10 exchanges to spare. We also took Solid Foundation here as well. Momo's board, on the other hand, is kind of your classic Crash Fist board. Yanchen has not drawn any copies of their Esoterics. Unlucky.
So that Ming Ming board, the Musician one, looks like it could be very lobby winning. That's horrifying for a tier 5 breakthrough board.
Yes, I have definitely seen worse versions of that board win lobbies.
And they have it so early.
Yeah. Alright. Bad news for this Yanchen. It's within reach here, looking real optimistic. I like the pickup of just the random within reach because there's 2 Ming Mings in the lobby, but you're gonna need to do a little bit better. Momo does defeat UWF Child. An impressive amount of overkill. The Solid Foundation HP there being the difference, making it so that this...
Again, Momo the calculator living the child hit on 1 so that he can go into negatives for the KO.
That's why we took Solid Foundation for that exact reason. Longya has found the Mirrorflower Sword formation. We have a pair of Rule Skies. This is fine.
It looks good, but it also doesn't look illusioned, you know?
Yeah, I feel like maybe the illusion should be on this board. The Yanxue is looking like, you know, your kind of classic Yanxue board from a few seasons ago. Could use some more upgrades. It's also very, very long and still sort of leaning on this sword intent component, which may be a little bit rough into the defense stacking board. With the cheaper Fusion 1000 Evils Dharma finish, I'll be curious to see if the Longya gives them enough time to deploy all of this.
Yeah, all the ingredients are on that board, but not necessarily in sufficient quantities. They
Exactly.
need to go out and buy a little more flour or whatever so that they can bake this to a short board that Dharma kills rapidly.
Well, we'll see if they've got enough here. This early Moonwater looks like it's just purely like a survival tool. I just don't know how you go on to win the fight from here. You know,
without the illusion to work and to get their HP down, getting the block knocked off prematurely feels very punishing.
Yeah, I guess the plan is just not to win. It's just to deal a little bit of damage and then Kindness Tune.
Well, that was achieved in fantastic fashion. They sure did do damage and play a maxed Kindness too.
Well, Team Snowball finishes with a sputter, but it is still good enough. Mention taking the wooden spoon there, failing to draw their esoterics. A little unfortunate for them. But as we said, their team has already secured the first. Momo can get within snapping distance if they can lock up a first of their own, but cannot overtake them. Yeah, starting to get there. Always have to be a little bit careful with Thousand Evils and Disturbing Fulus against a character that can employ soul cleaving against you. This board has gotten
horrifying.
This board has
when
gotten
soul cleaving gets flaw, it's just the worst.
This board has gotten even better. We have found an additional copy of soul cleaving, additional Shurura, and what the hell? We've even got a exercise soul for good measure.
We've upgraded the Rup Sprite for good measure.
Yeah, we can really send people. We can really chi hole someone.
Ooh,
this Divine Walkthrough is looking pretty dire.
Yeah, that Rup Sprite upgrade looks. Oh goodness, and they put in the. Oh, okay. At the last second, swapping in the dies was like a good way to get even more chi denied.
Oh, the soul cleave.
It's gonna be punishing enough.
The exercise soul does chase. It gets up to 65 exactly. All right. I hope you enjoy. Not enough chi cannot play card. Because you are going to be not enough chi cannot play card. I mean, the Blazing Prairie will get deployed, but it is attack downed. I don't think it's got the damage.
It's also entangled.
Yes. All right.
It's also, now the follow-up is double, not enough chi can't play card, so, you know, extremely not close.
Momo, once again surviving on single digits of HP, successfully soul cleaving the Thousand Evils back onto the Yanxue. Did not really see much of our metal friend here. Quick look at okay, they lost to the Yanxue Ghost. It's unfortunate for them. The lack of tripod meaning an exact kill. unfortunate for them to be fighting the Yanzhou Ghost. So we're down to only 4 players now.
So we are. I think, I believe Team Shockwave has it locked up for second, though.
Okay. So, Momo from here. Momo doing a very good job demonstrating their mastery of characters that are not Ling Yuan, which, you know, we all knew as much. Soul Cleavings in the Ming Mirror are a little bit funny. They are actually worse, as opposed to being better, like they are in every other fight in the game. So not a bad place to be on the Crash Fist board, but it is a slightly lower power board than the internal injury board. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. Kind of looks like our Mui Feng here is resigned to their fate. They do not seem thrilled about this matchup.
Who can blame them? This when Ming Ming hits the 30 agility mark between a single crane and Stick's agility plate, I mean, it's lucky for them to do, hard for them to do, but when they do it, you're just in trouble.
Yeah. Memo does take the loss there, which is rough for them, but relatively happy. Yeah, Long Yao can lose exactly 3 times. So, if I'm Momo, I'm just hoping I can Crash Fist him out. That's the vision here. We are slightly shy of making enough.
I don't know that Momo actually needs to hope for anything, right? Can't he just go stand up and make his evening cup of tea and his team wins? Or his team takes second.
You gotta get the full bragging rights though.
Okay. Well, if you gotta get the full bragging rights, then maybe make an offering up to RNGesus that you get paired against Long Yao frequently.
I wonder actually how good these two matchups are for both players. Ooh, the Rot Sprite being deployed against the Shuroroar. Man, yeah. It sure is. Musician mirrors sure are fun.
You know, normally Ming Ming on debuff boards, guard up can actually be an issue, right? A lot of the damage comes in big chunks from either soul cleaving or from internal injury. But she would get around that by when she soul cleaves, the Ming breaks the guard up and then the real hit can go through.
Yeah.
That doesn't work if your opponent is also a Ming Ming.
Yes.
So the Ice Guard Elixir might actually be able to do some interesting work here.
Yeah, it might. That said, it is still pretty hard to chunk through 5 soul cleavings and a max soul seizing.
Yep.
That is just a lot of like numerical upgrades that are pretty challenging to beat. Long Yao here dies to her own dragon scales. These are solid foundation differences sure have added up. So many times we've seen both Momo and Yua finish on single digits of HP. It's a little bit like having Xiaobu's tier 5, really. In terms of the extra HP it gets you. It's about the same. It's actually a little bit more in a lot of these boards, right? If you're only getting 8 plus, 2 from this. The number 1 team was the Silk Sword, so Tianxia's team has finished in first place despite an 8th finish here. It's looking like Momo's team Shockwave is going to be secured for second place, and then I think third and fourth might be a little bit. I'm not sure if that's been decided yet.
I think no, it has not been.
Okay.
Right, we're looking at Team Planning Revenge, Team Moon Forest, and Team Evil Fish Gang. are actually, I guess, Moon Forest, not Life Forest. So, Planning Revenge and Fish Gang, both of which have representatives still live in this game. So, actually, the outcome matters here for third place.
Very good. Well, gotta keep it down to the wire. Alright, Momo finds the win here. Very explosive board. Also looks like UR takes the loss here, so both players here defeating UR.
Yes.
Now it's Momo up against the Long Yao, which, I mean, given they've just defeated UR, they're probably thinking it would have been good to fight them because UR doesn't know that the ghost that Momo beat was them. They might not. They might
think that because UR has been beating Momo in the recent matches they've seen, they might think Momo just lived through against Illusion too.
Exactly. So there is this predicament floating around, but no chord to go with it. We did see UR play a board last round that was sort of geared against predicament, but didn't have to, and ended up paying the cost, as everyone always does when they play around a predicament that they haven't seen yet, or have seen. Alright, let's see if Momo can secure this win. UR and the Long Yao both have 2 fights in them. Momo obviously on their last legs here. It looks like we're sort of respecting anti-chase here. We're playing Blinked as our only agility source.
Blinked continue, right? So
Blinked continue, sure.
There's also Surging Waves, so
Okay.
Blinked continue is making 27. They're endeavoring to full chase.
Okay, well, that is not really respecting anti-chase so much then. But I think it's gonna be not quite enough. I think they just don't do enough damage here, right? Oh, right. It's hard to.
You can still kill yourself through guard up with HP costs.
It is hard to do, but it is possible to die with guard up stacks. Alright, so here we go. We have 2 musicians, both of them holding predicaments, both of them holding Rop Sprites. Oh, I think UR has kicked their Rop Sprite at this point, because it just isn't going to do anything. UR's board, truly worthy of a final board of a tournament.
Given that Momo's been defeated here, that they are playing for third place.
Okay, so the winner of this fight secures third place for their team. Glad that we're gonna.
Not this fight, probably the one after. I think they both have another fight in them.
Yes, unless UR somehow manages to take 35 on round 19, which I don't think they will. This is a pretty intense board though. The double soul cleaving, one of which is max soul seizing, concentric. We're well past the point that we're even playing most of the musician cards.
Double, like they've maxed the crane footwork and the stick's agility. It's
yeah.
And this is the dream.
This is what you want when you are queuing up as a musician Duanshu on board. Alright, here's the big hit. 42.
I love that they've left the bigger hit for the position where it stands to knock off 4 blocks.
Yes. Yes. Very very heads up play. Not quite enough though. Song Yao board is not messing around. Is this going to be the predicament? Is it time for predicament?
So, if we ignore the predicament mind game for the moment, I think that Ming Ming can take this by soul cleaving Ming.
Right. Yes, I think so too.
That is adequate to beat the board that was just played. But, you know, you can always get predicament ambushed.
Yes.
seems like this needs to change. That chainsword isn't copying anything.
True. Probably want that change. Well, I mean, if
Oh,
making a
it's
moon water,
copying
yeah,
moon water.
it's a little underwhelming, but
Yeah, that doesn't feel like where you want to be.
I really don't know if this is better against ER than playing the rules guys. Or even like the Rup sprite, you know.
Yeah, the triple mirror flower at the back end does seem like the way to go on this.
Yeah. Alright. We've been holding it for this moment. Enjoy your agility. I would have been pretty tempted. I'd have been pretty tempted to run the Rups right there, I think. You're putting so much you know, you're putting so much equity in this ambush. It feels like you should like fully commit to it. But it looks like it's gonna be enough. So you are falls, which means our Long Yao's team takes down the 3rd place. What team was Long Yao?
That would be Team Planning Revenge.
Team Planning Revenge, you know? They took their time, but they did manage to score themselves some measure of revenge. So kudos to them for that. That is the last game of the tournament. This is the end of the Wiki Cup. The top 32 has concluded.